Eating garlic reduces the levels of cholesterol and triglycerides in the blood and so helps reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. All right. Evidence that, so eating garlic reduces, so this isn't a correlation, it's actually causal. It causes your cholesterol levels and your triglycerides, which do sound bad, to go down, and that helps reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. Okay. Evidence that eating garlic reduces these levels is that, so now we're going to get the evidence for this. Let's see how good this evidence actually is. Evidence that eating garlic reduces these levels is a group of patients taking a garlic tablet each day for 4 months showed a 12% reduction in cholesterol and a 17% reduction in triglycerides. Over the same period, a group of similar patients, okay, so they're similar, that's good to know, taking a medically inert tablet showed only a 2% reduction in triglycerides and a 3% reduction in cholesterol. That's fascinating, right? There's the placebo effect, apparently. The study, there's some things we don't know, right? Like, is there something else? Is there some difference between these two groups that's causing a greater reduction in these numbers other than the garlic tablet? From what I can tell, the only difference is the garlic tablet versus the inert tablet. Because the argument does say a group of similar patients. I think that's really the issue: is how similar are they? Even if there was a small difference, right? Like the first group was more inclined to exercise over those 4 months. Well, that's not good. That could explain why their numbers are better. Anyways, that's my concern with this argument. I'm also concerned that even if we have evidence that shows why these levels have dropped, does that support the broader claim that this is going to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease? We didn't provide any evidence that links a drop in these levels of cholesterol and triglycerides has any effect on cardiovascular disease generally. Right? So that is a big gap in this argument. It's just an assumption. Okay, so it would be most important to determine which one of the following in evaluating the argument. Oh, well, I'd love to know what the two things I just pointed out. One, are the groups actually similar? Like, are they really similar? Or are there any slight differences that could account for the difference in numbers? And two, okay, even if the groups are similar and these numbers really did drop, does that mean that that's going to help reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease? I don't know that cholesterol and triglycerides are the key to reducing your cardiovascular disease. Okay. A, whether the garlic tablets are readily available to the public. Well, even if they're not readily available, that doesn't change the conclusion that eating garlic helps. It just may not be something that a lot of people can do. B, what the diets of the two groups were during the period. Yeah, I guess I'd like to know what the diets are, because if the diets are different in any significant way, for example, one group ate more vegetables, not good. I would keep this open. Although if I find something about the cardiovascular disease thing, that could be bigger. C, what effect taking the garlic tablets each day for a period of less than 4 months had on the levels of cholesterol and triglycerides? And what if they took them for 3 months and it didn't have an impact? I'd still say, well, yeah, but after 4 months it did. So eating garlic can help. I don't think this is so significant. D, whether large amounts of garlic are well tolerated by all patients. Wait, large amounts? I don't even know if they took large amounts. They took a tablet. So I don't know if this matters. Maybe you don't need a lot. E, whether the manufacturer of the garlic tablets cites the studies in its advertising. Definitely not the answer. Whether they're smart and take advantage of this information or not in their advertising is irrelevant to the truth of the information. So the answer is going to be B. Questions? Susie, yeah, you ask, is taking garlic tablets the same as eating garlic? It's not. That's a weakness I didn't think about. The conclusion is about eating garlic versus eating a garlic tablet. But, okay. Yeah. So if they had exploited that in one of the answers, maybe we would have paused and been like, oh, we didn't think about that. Even then, you have to think, how big of a deal is that? Is a garlic tablet significantly different than the real thing? It could be. It totally could be, right? Like sometimes people take vitamins and they just don't get absorbed because they're in tablet form as opposed to coming from an actual vegetable.
Also, I think it does point to the right answer because the second group may have been eating garlic. They just weren't taking a garlic tablet.
Oh, certainly they could be. And that comes back to, are they similar or not, right? So because if the first group was eating garlic and the second group was eating the same amount of garlic, but the first group added a tablet, then maybe it has to do with the quantity. But yeah, good question. Jania.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Hey, so is it not safe to assume that the garlic tablet is equal to like an overall garlic intake? Because that's how I sort of um, took in what they were telling us, like, hey, this garlic tab is equal to an overall garlic intake, and they told us like, hey, eating garlic can help with your cholesterol and triglycerides or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the the conclusion doesn't assert how much garlic you need to eat, right? And eating a garlic tablet may or may not be the same thing as eating garlic, but I unless they give us an answer that it exploits that potential difference, I mean I didn't even take note of it while I was looking at the argument, but it's not as significant as a problem as maybe something else, which was exploited.
But would that be an assumption that we can make that they took, I guess, the needed amount of garlic to justify whatever claim they made about having a lot of garlic, or is that just like a very loose assumption to make based on what?
Um, no, we don't know. We don't know how much they took. We don't know, but it it becomes more likely to be enough if there really isn't any differences in terms of their diet or exercise or anything else.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, good questions. Thanks, everyone.